welcome to the Football Social. I'm joined by Ian Cheeseman and Alex Boardman. Good evening, gentlemen. You okay?
Good evening.
Yeah, good.
Gentlemen, I want to talk now about Paul Pogba. He's becoming a talking point every week. There was a lot of pressure in the Newcastle game because he was under some media criticism, and then the Newcastle game didn't really pull anything out of the bag that was sort of worth his status. So now he's in the...
got subbed off.
He's got subbed off. He's in the headlines again. The question I'm putting to you is, would he be a better player if he was, one, playing differently, or two, under a different manager? Jamie Redknapp came out with a quote saying he's been underused, and under a manager like Pep Guardiola, you'd see the heights of why United spent that much money on him. Alex, you took a deep breath in there.
Jamie Redknapp, straight away, he's an absolute idiot. So, I mean, was it a week ago, 2 weeks ago, he said, Sanchez has signed for United, so Rashford, that's the end for Rashford, he has to leave to play. And it's like, but he's the only player that's played in every game, Rashford. I think he says a lot of things just to maybe get good headlines at some of his former teams like Liverpool. So ignore that. What surprised me about Pogba against Newcastle was it was like he's not going to play because he's got injured in the warm-up. And then he comes out and he's clearly not right. And we were trying to look and go, what injury could he have had? Could he have been physically sick? Is it that? Because it didn't look like a muscle thing. And then he looked a bit dizzy at times. He looked dozy. Then he seemed to play himself in for a couple of minutes, drift off for 15, 20. So I was surprised he stayed on as long as he did. And I wonder if that was Mourinho going, he assured me he was all right. I can't pull him off after half an hour. In which, that doesn't seem like Mourinho either. So who knows? But again, that game under control until the goal went in. 65 minutes, 80% possession. You're going, this will finish 3-0 when Newcastle tire. And sucker punched again with another poorly defended header. And that's it. Rubbish.
So then, Ian, I mean, I don't know how much you've seen of Paul Pogba this season, but you can't deny there was a reason why United bought him. If he was in the City squad, would he be playing better than he currently is doing for Manchester United?
I think any player playing for Pep Guardiola would be a better player. That's how good a coach I think he is, including Paul Pogba, including anybody you want to name, really. Perhaps not Messi. But then again, he probably learnt a lot of what he learnt under Pep Guardiola in the first place anyway. I did a tweet during that Newcastle, towards the end of that Newcastle game as I was watching it, which was just a question really, because I don't watch United every week, and I'm yet to be convinced by Paul Pogba. I don't get it. I'll admit I don't get what's supposed to be special about him, and I invited people to enlighten me. Obviously, what you then get is a mixture of City fans laughing hysterically, thinking you're having a go at him. You get some people who actually try to enlighten you, which is what I was after in the first place, and you get some people giving you a lot of abuse, which fine, I can take that. But I watched when City, when Pogba was at Juventus and City were linked with him, and somebody asked me, who should City sign next? I think I might have even put Pogba ? But I didn't know enough about Pogba to know whether or not he was the right player for City. Mm-hmm. I watched him closely in a couple of games, and you've got to watch the full 90 minutes. I prefer to watch in the flesh anyway, but a full 90 minutes to assess a player rather than highlights, as Alex has already pointed out. And I thought, the two legs of the semi-final, I think, of the Champions League, and then they got to the final, and I thought, don't see what's special about him, but maybe it's just me. Then he's come over to this country, he's played for United, all right, I've seen a few pot shots, all right, on highlights that have gone in, a couple of decent passes, but I see a player who never seems to break sweat, never seems to go above a trot, who's this huge, massive specimen who I'm thinking he should be imposing himself on players, he should be doing what Yaya Toure did in his pomp, because he looks physically the same, and he should be absolutely dominating midfield. And I see a player on his toes, walking and jogging and doing the odd little flick and things now and again. I'm thinking, just don't get what he is.
What's he missing out on, Alex?
Well, on his day, of which there's been a good maybe dozen games this year, he's absolutely fantastic. Pogba in that team, until Sanchez arrived, was head and shoulders above everyone. He wanted the ball constantly. Right foot, left foot, he can pass. I don't know, he's like watching Scholes, the way he sprays that ball out sometimes. When he gets the ball, his control's amazing. He beats players and they're hanging off him, and he beats 1 and 2 players with flicks, but from a standing start. But he needs the ball constantly. What he doesn't do is turn and run back when he's lost it. But he's not that sort of all action. He's almost like a 6'4" winger, if you will, playing sort of in the centre of midfield. He's really young. He's terrible defensively in the air. He doesn't seem to be bad going forward. But I think he's playing well within himself. And then lately, I think the criticism might have got to him, and he seems to be almost trying a bit too much. But make no mistake, he is the best player at Old Trafford by a mile.
So he's played 12 good games this season.
Yeah, and then he was injured for 6 or 8.
He doesn't track back. Don't get much for 95 million anymore, do you?
Yeah, but Glenn, that was always a criticism for someone like Glenn Hoddle or Paul Scholes. About, he can't tackle Scholes. Or Glenn Hoddle's like, he doesn't put the shift in and stuff. That's not his job. And they've always been players like that. And he is really special.
Seriously, though, those types of players, can they exist in the way we play now? They might have done in the past.
I think so.
Glenn Hoddle, Tony Curry, those types of players in their era were great players. And I loved watching those players. Rodney Marsh, loved watching them. But I don't think Rodney Marsh would survive in a current, the athletic way that current teams play, which is...
You could argue that about Tony Kroos. He's not the greatest athlete, but or Modric.
Well, there's the debate. It was a good chat there, and I'll put it to you if you're listening. 0345 111 7625. Drop us a text as well, 87711, or find us on Twitter at XS Manchester. Let us know your opinion. If you're a City fan, do you think he'd be playing better under Pep? Or if you're a United fan, is there something that he might be missing about why he cost this much? And is he coming up to his value? If you might agree or disagree, let us know. Have your say. And whilst we wait for your opinion, it's Valentine's Day here on XS Manchester. Not just here on XS Manchester, around the world apparently. Got your loved one something, Alex?
Yeah, I had to, yeah.
You had to?
I had to, yeah.
What did you get her?
Some perfume.
Lovely.
Because she got me a bottle of rum, but I think she won the bottle of rum in a school raffle and held on to it for about 3 weeks.
Ian?
I got a card and we went out for lunch today. Listen, I've been married for nearly 34 years. There's romance in my life every day.
Every day. That was weird. Now, as well as partnerships off the pitch, let's talk about partnerships on the pitch. I want to know the greatest partnership you've seen for your club. And we'll start with you, Alex Boardman, for Manchester United. Who was the greatest partnership you've witnessed for Manchester United?
Well, it was just for one season, and it was perfect, and it was Cole and York in 98-99. It was love at first sight, if you will, and I've never seen two players just enjoy every single game and destroy pretty much every defence they came up against. Home, away, Cole would score one, York would score one, then Cole would get another, and it was like that every game, week in, week out, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant to watch.
Alex, there's your point. Ian Cheeseman, the greatest partnership you've seen at your club?
It naturally gravitates towards strikers, and I suppose you think of at Liverpool, Keegan and Toshak and things like that, because they always used to do features about partnerships up front, but I actually think central defenders probably make better partners because of the way that they've got to cover for one another. And obviously I go back a little bit further than you two do, so I would say Doyle and Watson from the City team back in the 70s was my one of my favourite partnerships, if you like. But more recently, you could say Dickoff and Sean Golter weren't a bad partnership, and probably the other one's gone out of my mind now. I was going to say another one as well, but anyway, Al Berkovic and Ali Benarbia, who are not your straightforward strikers or defenders, but two midfield players who used to clearly love playing together and played on the same wavelength.
Well, there we go, gentlemen. The greatest partnerships. I love that. Are you ready for another game?
Okay.
Same music.
I thought we were going to have the other music.
So I've got a list in front of me here, and it is about midfielders that have served their striker well.
Okay.
So this person has assisted their striker. Now, how many times is up for debate? We're going to give you 2 options. You got to tell me if it's who is higher or lower than the other.
Okay.
Are you ready? I should have said that better, but you'll get the drift. Alex, you're going to go first. I'm going to give you... I won't leave that to Ian. Theo Walcott.
This is the harder one for me.
No, because
right.
that was the C one. Theo Walcott to Robin Van Persie, or Ryan Giggs to Andy Cole. Who gave the striker the most assists?
I'll go with Walcott to Van Persie.
You go Walcott to Van Persie. You're correct. I thought you would have gone the other way. Ian Cheeseman. David Silva to Sergio Aguero, or Pires to Thierry Henry.
God, these questions are so hard because it's that final pass you're talking about,
It's
isn't
that
it?
final pass.
So I'd say Pires to Thierry Henry because of the way that they link on the left-hand side.
David Silva gave Aguero 15 assists so far. Pires to Henry, 17. You are correct. Alex, here's one for you. Steve McManaman to Robbie Fowler.
You're enjoying this question already, aren't you?
Or Dele Alli to Harry Kane.
Man Fowler. Wondered how long they played together. Let's go with... I'll go with Kane.
You go with Kane,
I'm
you
not
go
going
with
Liverpool
Kane.
anyway. I'll go with Kane.
He's going with Kane. You, sir, are wrong.
It's only 2 seasons. isn't it?
McManaman to Fowler. And now for you,
I'd rather be wrong than right in that case.
Frank Lampard to Didier Drogba. Or...
He's searching these as
No.
Dramatic tension. Are you trying to be
Is
sexy?
it Darren
in a quiz?
Anderton? Darren Anderton to Terry Sheringham.
Teddy.
Teddy, yeah.
Teddy.
Oh, right. Well, you mean sick note to Sheringham?
Yep. Or Lampard to Drogba.
Pogba.
They said Pogba.
Oh, that's impossible.
We've got long left on this music bed, Ian. So
Right, I'll go with Lampard
You're going
then.
to go with Lampard. So, Teddy with 20 assists. Frank Lampard to Didier Drogba with 24, the highest ever in the Premier League. Both of you doing wonderfully well there. Oh no, Ian wins.
No, Ian won.
Ian wins.
He only went for the other one.
I
because
couldn't
it
go
was
for Liverpool. If I would have
couldn't.
McManaman played together since the youth team, they were together about 8 years. The other one's only been going 2 years.
Every week, put one of those in there. Then
Yeah,
no one can
never
always
know.
win.